more inferior goods when they have lower income. So then high income elasticities. People with relatively high income elasticity coefficients are hit hardest by recessions. So automobile industries, housing, and restaurant meals are hit hardest by recessions. And you saw that with COVID-19, the restaurant industry, they took a lot of restaurants went out of business because of COVID-19. Housing, the amount of houses sold has reduced significantly. They anticipate 25% housing sales reduction in 2023. So there will be a quarter, like there will be 25% less houses sold in 2023 based on forecasts. And then lower negative income elasticities are least affected by recession. So toothpaste and food products purchased at home. So these industries right here. So these industries right here. So like these are inferior goods. Like, can you name any inferior goods you can think of? Like products that you would buy more of when your income goes down. Can you think of any products like that? Sure, no problem, Brian. Thanks for showing up, Brian. I appreciate you coming in. That's great. Yeah, don't worry. Thanks for coming in. So eggs, instant ramen, food that can be preserved and is cheaper like canned food. Those are great examples. Yeah, those are good. Frozen microwavable dishes, all great examples. So yeah, those examples, great examples, everybody. So so those are what you call recession-proof companies. Like if you invest in the companies, so invest in these companies that provide inferior goods. So like how the market works, make an account, and invest in companies that produce inferior goods. Because inferior goods will be needed, because inferior goods are needed in recessions and non-recessions. They are always needed. So like they're good investments because they're always needed. So I highly recommend find on how the market works, find companies that you can invest in that that produce inferior goods. Yeah. So like the ones you listed in the chat, those types of goods, yeah. So cross price elasticity, the positive, that's a substitute. Then cross price elasticity negative, that's complement. Then income elasticity, that's positive, that's a normal good. And then negative income elasticity, it's an inferior good. So harmonized sales tax is in Ontario, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and Labrador. HST varies across provinces. HST extends provincial taxing services. So in this case, so like if the price elasticity of demand and supply, so like in this case, if the price elasticity of demand and supply are the same, a tax is shared equally across consumers and producers. And in this case, if the price elasticity of demand is greater than the price elasticity of supply, the producer pays more of the tax. And then if if the price elasticity of supply is greater than the price elasticity of demand, the consumer pays more of the tax. So like basically, the more inelastic you are, the more tax you pay. If consumers have more inelastic demands, they pay more tax. If producers have more inelastic demands, they pay more tax, basically. Just keep that up for a bit. So efficiency loss is tax. So tax revenues are produced from a tax. There are efficiency losses due to tax because there's underproduction. So good question on that. So good question. So like inelastic demands is like if it is inelastic, that means like that you need something. So like if you need something more than someone else, you will likely pay a higher price for it. Therefore, they allocate the tax towards you because you will always pay for it, regardless of the price. So if the consumer has a more inelastic need for something, they will pay more of the tax. Exactly, yeah. So it shifts, so the tax burden shifts to who needs it more. That's great. And who needs it more has the more inelastic demand / supply. That you got it, Justin. That's great. That's exactly it. And then a good thing to remember with like the more flatter the curve / graph, the more elastic. And then also the more steeper the curve / graph, the more inelastic. Yeah. That's a good motto. So remember that. That's good visually for that. Yeah. So I'll just keep this up too. So in this case, the tax produces a deadweight loss. The triangle there is deadweight loss, and that's caused by underproduction. So the tax causes underproduction, and you don't produce as much as efficiently possible. So that causes efficiency loss. So here, this is another good example of it. So like elasticity and pricing power. Why do different consumers pay different prices? So firms and nonprofit institutions often recognize and exploit differences in price elasticity of demand. So differences in price elasticities of demand are often exploited by suppliers. So